I'm Taylor Hart.
And I'm Avonlea.
And you guys, back in 2018, Avonlea and I got together and we did a little experiment. We created a course to help other people who have a dream to become writers. And we recorded a live series of video trainings together. And the recordings, they've kind of just been sitting out in cyberspace.
Yeah, so Taylor recently contacted me and asked me what I thought about putting this training out there in all of its messiness and imperfection, in the hope that it might help some of you who maybe has been displaced by the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's right. We have both in our lives faced hard things, and we want you guys to know we're there for you. We love you, and we want to be part of a solution. These recordings, you guys, they're totally raw and unedited, but they're 100% value. We hope you'll use them, benefit from them, and when you do write your book,
not if, but when,
then you'll let us know. And you'll share it on social media. You'll tag us, Taylor Hart, Avonlea, because these are going to be coming out. They're going to be coming out right now.
All the videos, all at once, they're there. So just go and enjoy the videos, share your success with us, and happy writing.
Happy writing.
Wherever you are, welcome to lesson 3 of Taylor Hart's Secrets to Building a Six-Figure Writing Business. We have a little change of venue today.
It's exciting.
We're at the county library taking advantage of the whiteboard because
it's
today,
a happening place.
Yeah, so busy. Today you're going to watch us create an outline for a story together. Last week we dove into how to write a great story and the outline of that process. And today you're going to actually witness that happen, because it's like one thing to hear about it and another thing to see it in practice. And we're actually going to enlist your help. We're going to ask you guys to vote on some ideas to help us create this concept. But before we get started, we're going to take 10, 15 minutes to talk about how to be successful.
Okay, guys. So part of the reason that I'm fascinated with things successful people do, okay, is because it applies to us not only in writing, but into our everyday lives. So today's lesson is about focus, all right? Controlling our focus. And I want you to think of focus like a lens on a camera, all right? And once I kind of learned this trick, now I use it all the time for myself, not only with writing, but in my personal life or with my children or anything. So if you think of your focus as this lens, if you want to zoom in, okay, close to something, you can. And you get really close to it and you're really involved in the details of it, right? But here's the best part, is you can zoom out, okay? And feel how different that feels, okay? I want you to think right now of a problem. I know that's hard to do.
I don't have any problems.
No problem.
Sorry.
Think of a problem you're facing right now. Maybe it's with your child, with your husband, maybe it's in your work. Whatever it is, I want you to think of that problem and I want you to zoom really close to it, okay? Because that's where we're kind of zoomed with our problems. I'm gonna be frank with you. We're kind of zoomed in close, like right here, okay? And then you can't, it's, right? You can't really see it. You can't really have a perspective. Now I want you to take that problem. I want you to see yourself zooming out, all right? So the problem's still there, but you're just further away from it, okay? What this gives you is perspective, right? You can look at the problem, but guess what? If you don't even want to look at the problem, it's okay. You don't have to. You can stay zoomed out. The problem will stay there. Most of the time it still is there, okay? You just leave it there and then you can zoom in on something beautiful. I want you to think about something right now you're really grateful for today, okay? I took a walk this morning with my dog. I told you guys I do that every day. And it's a fall day. It's beautiful here.
So beautiful here.
And I was just appreciating the red leaves. I really love the red leaves. I love the orange. I love the green. I love all that. But the red leaves in our neighborhood look like they're on fire. They're probably the color of Avonlea's lipstick. They're gorgeous. And I just let myself, so think of that. Think of the thing that you really appreciate right now, right in this moment. And I want you to zoom that focus in your mind and just breathe, okay? And just feel that and feel that gratitude, all right? And then you can open your eyes and then zoom back. And so you kind of have the thing you're grateful for and the problem still there, right? But it's a trick. It's a trick. And I love using this trick with my teenager. I have a 16-year-old right now. His problems get really big and they get really right here and then they're really big on me, right? And so both of us are like staring at these really big things. And so I've been practicing with him how to use that zoom, how to zoom out, right? Breathe, and you can feel better. With writing, I like to do it if I'm in the middle of a story and it just, writers always say, oh, I have writer's block. Oh, I can't do this story. I can't do this story, right? And I like to do the same thing. I like to zoom out. I like to zoom out on the story, go big picture, kind of what we're going to take you through right now. We're going to take you through big picture and really get a grasp of what is tripping me up. Maybe it's one section, one beat I haven't covered. Maybe the character is wrong. Maybe something's off. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. But once you find the motivation of your character, you'll know when your story's not feeling right. And you might have to rework it. And that's okay. But being able to zoom in and zoom out of your life, okay, your problems, of the good things and bad things, of your stories is so vital to controlling your focus, can free you up mentally. So you don't have to live in these problems. Tony Robbins always says, you can focus on the good things and you can focus on the bad things. Because I guarantee you both of them are there. You're always going to have both in anything you do. And so learning to really use this Zoom I hope it can help you the way it's helped me.
It reminds me of that saying, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Exactly.
Like when you're just focusing on the trees, you don't realize there's a whole forest around you.
Exactly.
You have to pull out to see the perspective, the big picture of everything.
And it makes you feel better. When it comes down to it, when you control how you feel, what you think about, you control right here. And that's gold, you guys. That's everything. To be able to be happy, to feel good, to be able to focus your thoughts, to relax, that's vital.
And to choose
success.
What you think about.
Yes. Practice.
It takes discipline. We're both raising teenagers right now, and I think about the difference between some of my teenagers and the ones who I perceive as being a little bit more happy and productive and successful on their journey, and the ones who are kind of struggling and getting behind. And I definitely think it has a lot to do with what they choose to think about and how they choose to think about it.
Absolutely. I like that.
For sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to move on now. We're going to get into outlining. So Taylor, before we do this, I know we spent a lot of time talking about the outline last week, and I was just curious as I was getting ready for this morning, at what point did you figure this out and start implementing it in your career? I'm just kind of curious on that learning curve.
That's a really good question. So I think I told you guys about how I had a friend who was a professional writer, and she looked over my first manuscript. And I cried for a couple of weeks about it. Not all the time, but I kind of did. Like, it was just kind of like,
it was the problem right here.
Right. And anytime I try and go back to writing or write something new or try and fix it, I didn't know how. And so it sent me on a journey to go, there has to be a method. There has to be a way. There has to be a reason people like stories and reason people don't. And there has to be a way to teach people, right? And so if you're kind of in the writing world, you'll probably have heard of a couple of different writing books. Some popular ones are by Robert McKee. It's called Story, and he was a famous producer. He, in fact, gives lectures. I read that whole book. It's probably 400 pages. I didn't find it useful to me as far as giving me a structure, right? He kind of tells you all this stuff that's great, but it doesn't give you a structure. And so I kept searching, went to workshops. I met some writers at it was called Author Indie Hub. And it was here in Salt Lake. And there was a person presenting on a book called Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. And that was like the first beat sheet that I was like, okay, I could see this could work. And so I started using that. But what drove me to find something else, to add more beats and to combine more of my own, is because I write.
And to focus on your genre.
Exactly. I write romance. And his beat sheet is more tuned to having the romance be the B story. And that's okay. I mean, and we all, you might want to write a story that's more action, that's more narrative driven as far as not with romance.
Right. Well, like Star Wars, for example. Star Wars isn't a love story, but there's always some kind of a little romance.
Any super,
right. Or Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy. Like the action is the A story. And fantasy, the romance is the B story.
Like all the other genres, urban fantasy is really popular right now, but anything like that, you probably, that beat sheet is really useful. But like Avonlea was saying, once I just started like, okay, I'm going to pound out romance. That's what I love. Then I had to start kind of tweaking things. And so that's what you're getting. You're getting a combination of 13 years of writing, but probably 8 years of using a beat sheet, coming together and saying.
So you would say it was about 5 years into your career that you found a solid outline to start working with.
Yes. That I had.
And did you notice a significant turning point in your career, in your success when you started using that?
Because I was able to use a method and produce at a level that then, I could make a living as a writer. Because one of the things that most of you probably know is that indie authors produce fast. We produce quick.
In fact, tell me your turnaround time. We haven't said this, I don't think, live on camera yet.
Well, if the stars line up, I could put out a book. I could write a book. I don't want to say 3 days to 5 days. I could just my first draft.
That's crazy to me.
Right? And that's probably about 40,000 words. Working intensely. So that's going away to a hotel, right? Or somewhere that I'm working probably 10 hours a day. And that's going, I've already pre-written. I've already been working on these. So I've kind of been thinking about them and I'm going, okay, I know the character, I know the setting, I know what's going to happen. Let's just boom. And then the story just starts flowing. And you guys, I was telling Avonlea today, this is my favorite part. What we're going to do today is the creation. It's the fun part.
It is.
It's the part editing. I don't love editing. I want to hide from editing.
And remind me to come back to editing, because as we go through the beat sheet today and outline a story, I want you to tell me which part is the place where you stop. She said it's about 3/4 of the way through, and edit. Because I'm at that point right now in my book. So I want to know, because I kind of have gotten to a certain point, and I want to know when you stop and go back and fix. Okay. So let's get to that today. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Should we just do this?
Let's
trade seats. She's going to move over here, and I'm going to climb back here to the whiteboard. So let's adjust this so you can see both of us, and you're not looking at weird angles.
Great idea.
And well, I guess before I even start writing, we should do another poll.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready to take a poll? Who are we going to outline a book for today? You have to choose, Taylor or Avonlea. I'm going to launch the poll. Is it going? Launch. Here we go. All right. So put your votes in. We want to know, who do you want to create an outline for today? Do you want to see the experts who has successfully written some books show us how it's done? Or do you want to watch me go through the fire
of the process? We're going to help each other. We're going to help.
Oh my God. Come on, you guys. Let's get some. Only 3 of you have voted. I need 3 more votes. All right, 5 more seconds. And okay, it looks like I'm going to go through the fire today. All right, share the results with our audience. Oh, even 4 came in. So we have. It's going to be perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to climb up to the board here and I'm going to start writing out the outline while we do some other polling questions, because you guys are going to help us come up with the story.
All right.
Right? So I'm going to borrow this.
So while she's writing those up there, I mean, I hope you all have your beat sheets in front of you. If not, go to your email and pull them up. Okay, pull them up so you can just kind of click between screens if you can. If not, I mean, you'll be okay, but it's helpful. Something that you have to know is who your character is, right? And next time, I'm super excited. We're going to have a guest coming on. She's a friend of mine, and I have to wipe the computer. She's going to come on, and we're going to talk in-depthly about character, all right? And it's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be awesome. But for today's purposes, we're just going to kind of identify what our characters want, all right? And that's going to help move our story, move them through the beats, okay? But we have some polls because we thought it would kind of be fun to, okay, it's not letting me, sorry.
Okay, so we launched the poll. Who are we creating an outline for? We're going to go to our next poll.
Oh, okay.
Poll number 2.
Launch that one.
What kind of story? Wait, click launch again. Sorry, it's being finicky.
Hey,
guys.
what kind of story should we outline? I write billionaire romance. I write second chance romance. I write Christmas romance. I write wedding date romance, kind of like fake fiance romance. But we just kind of put some tropes. You know, we could do a Cinderella story. We could do a blind date. It's obviously based on romance. So kind of look through there for about 10 seconds and see what would be interested. We have a vote for Christmas and a vote for blind date. Oh, we have a vote for fairy tale. Oh, and a vote for, okay, you guys are dividing us up. We have a vote for billionaire, second chance. Okay, we have 2 votes for Christmas, which, you know, we can use a lot of stuff with Christmas, but I love Christmas.
I'd say let's end it.
All right, Christmas romance, baby.
Christmas one?
Yeah, okay, Christmas run.
All breaks loose, all is lost.
Okay. Oh gosh, Avonlea, I just did something.
That's okay.
Like took us clear out.
We're here.
We're still here. Okay.
And we'll share the results with you guys so you can see. I don't know why it's being finicky though right now. There we go. Okay, so you guys can see the results there. We have Christmas romance as our winner. Christmas is coming, and I actually will probably do better writing in the season because I can use like the season for inspiration. So that is good.
Okay.
So let's do our next poll.
Here it is. Okay.
Poll number 3. What is the setting of my story going to be?
Its setting's important. It kind of creates, you know, a feel. So we thought some fun ones would be the beach, a cruise ship, the city, a small town. So, it looks like we got small town going on.
Okay.
Small town. You guys want
guys,
small
you just
town
want a
people?
Hallmark movie.
I know.
Okay. I'm gonna have to move
We're gonna do
here.
unfold and we're gonna share with you guys. Okay. Oh yeah, we got 4 out of 5 for small town.
Okay.
And now we're gonna do our last poll. Is going to be okay. Yeah.
Is it working this time?
Okay, I got this figured out. Okay, last question.
I'm gonna make a note up here. So we have Christmas.
Who are the heroes? So,
Small town.
you know, I write some football romance. Do we want a football player, billionaire, trust fund baby that we could hate, right? A school
we did a
teacher.
little love triangle, or
Like,
he has to have like,
ooh,
or he has to kind of have
that
like,
would be nice.
he has to grow up from his trust fund babiness. All right, we have country music star coming in strong here.
I love country music stars.
And then if you guys scroll down on the poll, so you can vote for multiple choices, or you should be able to. I think I plugged it in that way. But we want to know who the hero is and who the heroine is. So if you guys could all take a minute to give us some ideas on who are these characters that you're going to fall in love with. and then we'll end.
Oh, we got some. Okay.
Or maybe let's give them a few more minutes because that's a lot of choices.
We'll give you a little time. We'll give you a little time to do that. Okay, so Christmas, small town.
We have a Christmas small town.
Okay. So I think we are thinking homework.
I know, right?
Gotta see it's a small town.
Save the small town. Okay, we have a few more votes coming in. Let's, since there were 2 questions with a lot of choices, we'll go 10 more seconds. Let's close it out at a minute 30. Okay. Oh, so yeah, there's some votes coming in here. Okay, so end the poll.
Oh, I think we win for entrepreneur.
Okay.
For the guy, if you want to write that down.
Okay.
And then
let's share the results with our group so they can see.
We're kind of tied for the women.
Women. Single mom.
We could do a single mom writer.
Okay.
Or a single mom
heiress.
And like if we have an entrepreneur and he's going to come into the little town, then maybe we have like a single mom writer that's going to write for the paper and going to be against the development.
Okay.
What do you think? It's her story.
So let me throw this out there because I was afraid this was going to happen. And I was like, okay, if I get put on the spot, we can just close this window right here. If I get put on the spot, I kind of started thinking about a love triangle because I know how Taylor loves her love triangles.
I love love triangles.
If you look at your bio, that's one of the first things my friends say, ooh, love triangles.
That's true. I forgot
so I was thinking about, okay, I know a ton of women here in Utah who are these gorgeous, educated.
That's true.
They've postponed marriage for whatever reason.
I can live up to that.
Oh,
I don't know.
I was actually going to say you have like these amazing eyelashes. But anyway, blonde hair, blue-eyed, gorgeous women.
Fake eyelashes, but
I know all these women here in Utah, right? Who are like in their 30s. They've postponed marriage, but they want to get married. And so since they haven't gotten married, they've spent all this time just like building these amazing lives, and they're super generous and like their standards are high. Okay. So I had this idea that there's this girl who finally, she's in her 30s, gets engaged to a billionaire. And he flies her to Paris for her birthday for this like amazing photo shoot, and then she gets picked up by the chauffeur and they drive her to this chateau, and there's like 1,000 candles and 1,000 pink peonies and white roses, and he proposes with like the 10-carat Tiffany ring, you know. She's like, so, and he's a good guy, we like him, he's got great qualities. But as she's flying back to the States, the plane has to make an emergency landing in New York because there's some guy on the plane that has this life-threatening emergency. And so they fly in, stop in New York City, and as she's getting off the plane, she runs into her ex-fiance, who she left at the altar. And he is bitter. I like it. Okay. Ooh. So here's our entrepreneur. And so maybe that's why she left him, because she like thought he didn't have enough ambition, and she was kind of worried about their future. And he's just coming off this like major nonprofit excursion in like Nepal or something, like, but she doesn't know this, and he just looks like homeless guy.
She's gonna have to write this book.
Does this sound
fun? So good.
You like this?
I love it.
Okay, so they end up having to go back to their small town for Christmas because it's winter there, and so they get stuck in New York together because
the billionaire stayed.
Yeah, he stays over to do business in Europe. Okay, she's flying.
We got him out of the way.
Mm-hmm. And she runs into the ex-fiance in a blizzard in New York City, and they can't fly out because of the storm.
I love it.
So they're thrown together.
Do you guys love this?
They have to go back to their small town.
Ooh.
So help me. What happens next? Because that's as far as I got.
Well, so she already has the bring the heat moment. Do you guys recognize that? That would actually be with the homeless looking guy, right? Like that would be our
running into our
bring the heat, because he's the one we care about. So even though it might start with her
proposal, like fantasy romance,
kind of like the ordinary life, like this is what's happening in her life right now. She just went to Paris. Okay, so we have the proposal at the airport.
Well, we have the proposal in France, and then she ends up in the airport running into her.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. And so after they see each other, they're both going to be heading to this small town, correct? Mm-hmm. They must be on their way home for Christmas. Okay.
Because it's a Christmas romance.
So what if there's snow?
So she's on her way home with this 10-carat ring, like going home to tell her family she's engaged, and she runs into her ex-fiance in the airport, and he sees the ring, and he's just so angry with her because he never got an explanation for why she left him at the altar.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of this would be happening when we have the life as we know it up here. That would be the
It's happening a little bit out of order
subtext,
then.
right? But it's still happening because he would be right. They would be interacting, and he would be like, nice piece of glass, right? Mm-hmm. And she'd be like, yeah, I just got engaged. Right. I don't know. What would she?
She feels bad. So this is kind of what I was thinking. They're stuck in New York City.
She's a writer. Is she a single mom? Or are we not doing that?
Gosh, what do we have? We had heiress, writer, event director.
And they were all equal. So you could pick.
Okay.
Do you want to have a kid, or do you not want to worry about the kid?
Is it hard?
That's what you can do.
Single mom stories.
I
have. Does it make it more complicated?
It's more complicated for the fun and games, unless you have someone there taking care. Maybe you have the grandparents taking care of her. Maybe that's part of the fun and games, is that she and the old boyfriend, but then who'd she have the kid with?
Right.
So it can make it more complicated.
Yeah. Let's not do the single mom.
Maybe time. Not right now.
But
so she's a writer. Maybe she's writing. Oh, well, why is she in New York? How'd she meet the billionaire?
In my fantasy world that I had already created, she was the director of a nonprofit organization. Okay. And he's the billionaire who invests, and so they kind of meet at a gala or something.
That's perfect.
Okay.
So the next thing, so what's going to be the impetus? What's going to be the thing that makes them come together and work together?
It's the emergency landing. The plane lands in New York, and there's a blizzard, so they can't fly out that night. So they land just as the blizzard closes in, and they're stuck in New York. And they go to get the last hotel, and he's in line in front of her, and his card declines.
Ooh.
And he's like, no, I know there's plenty of money in my account, and his card declines again, and he's been traveling overseas, so he really does have enough money, but something has happened, and his card company won't accept his card. And she's in line behind him, and last room in the hotel.
She doesn't know he's famous.
No, she doesn't know that he's finally become the successful entrepreneur, and she's in line behind him, and his card's declining. And she's like, here, and she hands over her card, and they take the room, and he's like, fine, and he's going to leave, and she's like, where are you going to go? How are you going to pay for a cab? How are you going to get out of here tonight? Like, even if you make it back to the airport, you're just going to
pay for a car?
I was thinking it would be a hotel for the night, and they have to like share 2 beds.
Ooh.
She's like, just come up, have a hot shower, I'll order you some dinner. And he's kind of like, fine.
Okay.
And then that's when they kind of have to figure out, how are we going to get home?
But at this point, do they know they're going to both go home?
Not
because
yet.
Something that you have to be thinking about is that if you're going to get to the fun and games, right? Kind of the things that are going to be, they're going to do around town or something, they're going to have to make a decision to do this together. Mm-hmm. So maybe she doesn't even know if she's going to go home yet. Okay. Maybe that's a decision she makes. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe that's her decision.
All right.
So, but I love this. So the impetus is that the plane comes down actually, and that she sees him there. Mm-hmm. So maybe the A story, and this is great because Avonlea, when she was talking about, we can bring the heat because you're kind of just giving the genre, right? When your audience sees that first scene, even if it's with the billionaire getting proposed to, that's okay. It's all right. So that's
because I was thinking, thinking way ahead. You've mentioned that your opening scene kind of has to mirror your closing scene. So I feel like the closing scene is a proposal, but it's like the complete opposite of the fairy tale.
Avonlea is like bringing it today. Do you see this?
I was worried this was going to happen.
She's like slamming it down.
I'm losing sleep over this.
I'm like, woo! This is going to be an awesome story. Like she's going to have to write this and put it out. So do we have a vote? They could vote if you should write this.
Oh, I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it.
All right. So boom. We already know they're going to have a conversation about what's going on. And he's not going to tell her, it sounds like, about how rich and famous he is.
Right.
Or, that he's made it.
So notice, guys, this isn't happening in order.
That's true.
We talked about how that doesn't always have to happen in order.
True.
It's
just has to be there.
Right.
Okay. Plane comes down, they see each other. Really, there's a couple of pro cons. Like the hotel right?
Do I help him out?
Is she gonna help him?
And he's gonna like, am I gonna let her help me? His pride's really wounded.
Because he could go live like a homeless man. That's what she thinks he is. I really love it when they just hate each other. I just love that. So, okay, and then, so they decide to share a hotel, and then maybe he's even saying to her, so are you coming home for Christmas? Maybe it's like the centennial of the town or something.
Okay,
there's like some big event. And maybe her mom's been bugging her. Like, aren't you coming home? We want to see that big ring. We want to, you know, and she's like, Mom, I can't. I'm supposed to meet.
I'm so busy. I've got all my work. I've got my.
Well, maybe she's supposed to meet the billionaire with his
rich
family,
right?
For Christmas, right? And I'm thinking kind of Sweet Home Alabama-ish,
okay.
Right? It's like kind of the town she doesn't want to go home to because there's all of this history with
the fiance,
this guy. So let's take a minute to talk about this history. So Avonlea. So the fun and games are going to kind of depend on what happened between them.
Okay. So I hadn't planned it out a ton. Like I had like a skeleton because I didn't want to come and be like, I planned out the whole thing, guys. Ta-da! Like I wanted you to see me sweat a little bit. So I haven't thought about everything.
Yeah.
So I thought she left him at the altar because she had some fears.
Ooh, left him at the altar.
Yeah. Like not just called off the engagement, like she got cold feet. And so that's,
hate her.
He's bitter. He's embarrassed, he's humiliated, and he loved her. Even though he's still angry, he never stopped loving her.
So maybe she grew up like really poor.
Okay.
And she was just afraid that that was going to be her life forever.
He wasn't going to be able to take care of her. She was really young, because that's the other thing. We've got this woman who's really successful in her 30s. She was engaged way too young.
But I was going to say, maybe she had something she could go leave to, and he didn't have that. Was it a scholarship? Was it, and maybe he didn't even want to go at that point. Do you see what, like maybe there's a reason that not just because she was cold-hearted,
right?
You know, wanted money. But
I just think she had cold feet where she was like,
they were too young.
Too young, yeah.
So maybe they grew up together and loved each other forever.
High school sweethearts.
So even on the plane, before she sees him, okay, maybe even when they're wrecking, like it's the emergency landing, she always thinks about him, right? Like how things are left undone. That could be like the foreshadowing. And then when she sees him at the airport, that would even freak her out more.
Right.
Because
she was like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about him as the thing was making this emergency landing.
What the heck is happening? And I love that with characters because it's almost like the universe is lining up something for them and they can feel it, but they're not ready to accept it yet. So I think that would be really cool. Okay, so for some reason,
their history, that's what we're talking about, right? Where does that fit in? Is that still part of the life as we know it? Kind of understanding.
And that would be some internal dialogue going on.
Okay.
I'm thinking when they're, you know, fighting about all of this, they're standing in line, right? And he turns back to her and he's even like, so are you coming home or are you going to ditch out on the festivities? Right? Like maybe there's something important, like maybe her father or her mother's in charge of something. Like if we're doing Christmas, a Christmas series that I was a part of was Snow Valley. I'm actually doing another Snow Valley. But the town, like if you're doing Christmas, in a small town, oh man, the small town has stuff, right? Like every year, like the pie making contest or the 5K pancake thing or the Christmas lighting.
I lived in a small town. You have too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like Victor, Idaho, like the first weekend in December, there's this big parade through the town and like they have the ice sculpture contest and not even the snow sculptures. You guys, if you've ever seen a snow sculpture contest, it's so cool.
So what would be a reason her mom would really want her back this year? Like what event in this fun and games would be like very important?
Okay, so we have this blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl who is the director of a nonprofit organization. What is like something that only she can offer? Or
the things she never thinks she could offer, right?
Like,
which will be her growth.
The special thing that she's always felt insecure about or never recognized.
I was going to say, what if for her mom is in charge of this or enters this cookie contest.
Okay.
Maybe it's the recipe.
It's like a mother-daughter thing.
It's a mother-daughter
thing that they have
it's
to
a mother-daughter
together.
Thing.
Okay.
And she's begging her, and she's like, "Mom,
I'm not even call that part of the B story, because that's going to be maybe some of the fun and games that we see with the new cast of characters we have to introduce.
But up here is when, you know, she's trying to make that decision. She's already decided she's not going home. She's going with this billionaire, and then she runs into her fiance. They get snowed in, right? They're sharing a room, and he starts saying like,
and he's stayed close to her family because he still lives in this small town, and he knows how much this would mean to her mom.
Yes. So he can even say, so is it going to be another year of your mom crying in her hot chocolate after the cookie contest? Ouch. And she can be like, what? I don't know what people expect from me. I never wanted to go back to that small town. And then okay, so here's where too,
and here's
theme becomes really important in your story. And for yourself, for that character, they never know it themselves, but like he could say to her, like, and I'm thinking really generically, but something like Sweet Home Alabama, remember the scene when he said to her, you can have wings and roots? Remember when he said that to her?
No.
They're sitting in the dog cemetery.
Oh, it's towards the end of the movie.
It is towards the end. But that was kind of the debate the whole time. And she was like, I hate being back here. I'm not back here. And so maybe, but what if our character even says to her, like, does it have to be like, just because you're married? Or, yeah, and this is the good times to be thinking about theme. Like, what are you going to argue the whole time? What is the character struggling with? Also, it's a time she could say to him,
I know what it is.
Never gonna.
She felt like she had to go off and make a big difference in the world in this nonprofit organization. So she's like trying to go like make a difference, and he's kind of like, you can make a difference in small places. Okay,
brilliant, right there. I love that actually, and maybe that's something that she's saying, like, I've done this, I've done that, and he's like, yeah, seems like the cookie contest wouldn't matter
to compare to
someone like you.
Orphans in Africa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so for him, so then you think, what's his thing? And maybe it's, I mean, the easy one is forgiveness, right? Maybe they're laying there, they're both in bed, and she says, like, are you ever gonna forgive me? And he's like, nope. And so, okay, so the next day, obviously there's gonna have to be, the storm's still bad, there's no way to get back except,
well, they like flights are limited, they can't get tickets, so they have to.
Where's the small town at? You know that? Mm-hmm. So should it be by,
Could
they drive from New York? Or, I mean, it could be any.
If they wanted to wait for a flight, they could fly, but they're like, well, he's on a timeline, and she's like, fine, I'll go.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nowhere else to go. I mean, there's no flights going out.
And he goes to rent his car, and the car's declined. And she's like,
I love it. I love it. You know what, you guys, and I was also gonna say, one of the best things about like having a friend to do I brainstorm with is this. It's funny. Mm-hmm. It's like they think of funny things, and then so I would really encourage you to have a group or even just one other person that knows the beats too, right? And that you can do this because it's fun.
The book I'm writing right now, I was like, okay, I'm going to write a clean romance because you're going to be able to coach me through that through this program. So I've been writing this as we've been talking about our series. Yeah. And I sat down with my stepdaughter. She's 12 years old. What 12-year-old girl doesn't love a romance? And I was like, help me come up with some ideas. And she just kind of started throwing stuff out. And I was like, yeah, oh, no, yeah, oh, okay. But she helped me kind of come up with the concept. And so now she's so excited to read the book because she was a part of the concept with me. And so even just brainstorming with her triggered memories. Like she made some comments about, well, they should be in college. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had this college professor who looked like Matt Damon. I kid you not. And like, it was like, a week or two into class when I figured out, I was like, who does he look like? Why is he so familiar? And then I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like Good Will Hunting.
So Matt Damon.
Right there.
And then like, from that
future.
moment on, I couldn't even talk to my professor without like blushing and stuttering. It was ridiculous, but it was like, that would be such a funny story for a book.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
it was just brainstorming with her helped trigger. And then that also helped me write from life experience in some ways.
Exactly.
So even though I'm not telling the exact story, I was like, ooh, this is a funny anecdote.
Yes.
That I can write from true experience, because we also learn, write what you know.
Exactly. Well, and we all have those romances that didn't work out, right? Or that person. Why do these tropes work? We all have this desire to have this magical Christmas. And how many Hallmark movies have we been fed?
So many.
If you watch them like we do, a lot, a lot. Okay, so she decides to go home.
And his decision is
that,
to accept her help.
Yeah. Yeah, because she couldn't get home without him. So maybe he even says, like, are you going to come? Are you going to come or not? And that's his decision to be like, okay. Like, he will have a little bit of forgiveness in his heart.
Okay.
Right.
So our B story, we really have this mother-daughter event that was kind of her, another reason for her to go. And then that introduces us to this wacky mom.
Yes.
Who we fall in love with. Like, and this is kind of the new cast of characters. So again, going back to what we talked about last week,
yep.
This new cast of characters, and it reminded me this very morning, I took my son to the orthodontist office, and every year the orthodontist and all of his staff dress up. They go all out as like a movie theme. And I know it's not Halloween today, but they had a competition that they do with other dentist offices.
That's cool.
That should be a cute story. That would be a way cute story. Anyway.
You guys listening, write it. Write the story.
So this office goes all out. I mean, like, they have pictures framed on the wall from every year of these costumes that they've done. And this year they were all the characters in Coco. And I was like, this is so cute. All the dental assistants are like these sugar skulls, and the orthodontist and his dad are the little boy and the mariachi villain.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so cute. But I was like, gosh, every year they just come up with something where everybody can dress up in all these costumes. Like, they put together the whole show for you.
Yeah.
And then that made me think how important it is that you have your cast
of
characters. It can't just be him and her the whole time.
No.
Like, you need your supporting cast.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So fun.
Mom is going to be one of those crazy supporting cast people. We know dad.
Yes. Well, and do remember, if they're going back to a small town, it's going to be a huge deal. I mean, the town they almost got married in, there's going to be moments like, it is upside down for her, but it is upside down for them to be together again. So you're going to have the old town, all the old town, all these moments of, maybe they're even driving through town, they stop to get gas. And you have even the gas station guy that comes out and he's like, well, wait a second, are you guys back together? Oh my gosh, snapping a picture.
And we see the ring on her finger. And
I mean, it's going to be that's going to be fun too. Even though it's going to be really awkward, because it's really going to bother both of them at first, right? And they're going to be like, I just knew you guys were the power couple. You were like Tomcat, right? Oh wait, they divorced, right? It's going to be really funny.
Okay, so we have awkward moments. I think, what is the word for that when you have misinterpretation or
Now I can't think of it. Can you guys think of it? We don't have chat for them.
Well, we can change it so that they can comment to us. Let's see here.
Okay.
All right, friends, help us out if you think of something.
I feel blind without you guys.
Let's try that. Okay. Let's see if you guys can comment to us if you want to answer some of our questions.
Okay.
So we have awkward moments. We have confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there has to be something. You know what would be funny is if when he drops her off at the mom's house, like, she's freaking out, right? But she's also like, oh my gosh, I don't have anyone to set up and run the contest. So I need both of you. Like, it's tomorrow. I need you guys.
So-and-so broke his leg and
I don't have lights up. I don't have this done. I don't have that done. And all of a sudden they're both, and he loves her mom, right? Because the mom has loved him and kept in touch with him.
Yeah.
And so he feels on the hook.
Obligation.
And maybe it's even something deeper, like maybe she was there for him when his own mom died, right? Like, maybe it's like she really is his mom. in this relationship, which could make it really awkward for them, but it's a reason to throw them together. So they have to be together. And so the mom can even say, will you guys please just work on this for 2 days with me? For 2 days, just help me line everything. I mean, there could be a list of events. Maybe she's in charge of the whole, whatever it is.
She is the town activities chair.
Right. And she just needs all these things. And so reluctantly, they agree to work together, right? Which would give them, that's very important. I was going to say for the B story, is a reason that they are forced together. And you guys have seen this in a lot of stuff. It could be they have to work together. It could be a dance competition they have to train for. When Avonlea and I were talking about different romance movies. Oh, and I think I mentioned it last time, but girls just want to have fun. I always think about that. It's one of my favorites. But just a reason that forces them. And then all these things happen. Maybe there's like the crazy kids they knew in high school that have a booth, you know, but
like a kissing booth, and
yes.
They're raising money and they have to kiss, and
right. There could be funny upside down. It's the upside down world, right? And so it is funny. Mm-hmm. And both of them, and they're kind of the only sane people in the upside down world. But as these events go on, then that's when you trickle, right? It's a trickling of backstory that starts coming out, right? Like maybe he says to her, you know, I did read an article, and that was really cool with the orphans. I saw that. And then she would want to give a little bit and be like, so what were you doing in Nepal? Mm-hmm. Right? And maybe it's a while, and then they have this, it comes to a point, since it's a romance, right? Some of the middle, do we have let's see, breaking point would be kind of the middle where the stakes are raised, and that's going to be a high or a low. But if it's a high, it's going to be when they start falling back in love, right? When it's still there between them and they recognize that. But during this whole thing, I mean, she's going to be on the phone with her billionaire fiance, right? She's going to be like, oh yeah, no, my mom really needed me. Maybe she's not even going to tell her billionaire fiance about
the ex-fiance.
Yeah. Why would she do that? Who needs to know? No. It's nothing. That's the past.
This is my old life.
Yeah. So she's just doing all these. She's like, I'm suckered into this with my mom. Yeah. I'll fly out Christmas Day, right? Always creating a time limit is really important for your heroes. So the reader or the viewer knows that something is coming. Because if it's this unending thing, then you're kind of like, oh, okay, how long is this going to go on? Right?
But her billionaire fiance is a great guy. So he decides, instead of having her fly out to him on Christmas Day, he's like, why don't I fly there on Christmas Eve?
During the climax of the cookie contest, when they won, and she's so happy with her mom, and she decides to go on the sleigh ride with the ex-fiance because he's been giving sleigh rides all day. And so what the heck, let's go on a sleigh ride. And
so all hell breaks loose is when the fiance flies there on Christmas Eve.
Well, and he catches them at their spot kissing, right? Because the mom has said, oh, she went on the sleigh ride up to this point, right? And so he hikes up there and he sees them kissing. It's so great, though. So great. Okay. And something that we're not going to really get into this whole time, but I want you to be thinking about is every character goes through each of these beats, maybe on a different time scale. Okay, like at the same time at different phases, right? So they don't even have to go through them together. But when all hell breaks loose, right, that could be, not just for she and the billionaire guy, but it's a hell breaking loose for the ex-fiance. Mm-hmm. And she, of course, she's freaking out because she still does love. Maybe she realizes she loves him. But the character is not advanced yet. They haven't gained their skills yet. So they don't know how to handle all this.
They're trying to solve problems the old way.
Mm-hmm. All the old things that were important to her. All of a sudden, during the fun and games, she's realized how much she loves this little town, right? How much she's missed all these people, how much she's missed her mom.
And she starts to see how there is need there, that she can make a difference.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Maybe like when the schools is run down, or who knows, but they start talking about it. Okay, so the all is lost moment would probably be, well, what do you think it would be, Avonlea?
She feels like she's lost both of the guys.
Yeah.
Like, well, I just ruined my engagement with this wonderful billionaire and my ex-fiance, who turns out to be still an amazing guy, also doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Why would he not want to have anything to do with her when he's kind of fallen back in love and the new fiance shows up? What is his reason for abandoning her?
The ex one or the
ex? Mm-hmm. She has to feel like she's lost in both. So what would be something that she's done?
They can't comment.
I swear I changed it so that they can comment to the panelists.
Like, can you guys comment? Give us
oh, here
ideas.
we go. Here we go. Allow attendees to chat with panelists.
Okay.
Try now, guys.
Try now. What are some reasons?
Here we go.
You got anything?
Yeah.
You got anything?
Okay. Give us some ideas. Why is the ex-fiance so upset with her when this happens? He's just gone through this whole process of like humbling himself to accept her help. They come home. They kind of fall in love over again. Like,
and maybe he says to her, maybe at the breaking point, he says to her, you know what? I do forgive you. And that's when she kisses him, right?
Okay.
And then the guy shows up. So.
Well, she must do something to try and save this relationship that makes him go, you know what, she's just going to run out on me again.
Yeah, maybe she does. Maybe she leaves the sleigh and just takes off.
So he has abandonment issues because she's abandoned him twice.
Good. That's good.
Okay.
And I do love that. As you write this, you get to know your characters better too. Because you're like, okay, he's going to have this. You know?
So she chases
the billionaire. And maybe the billionaire stays. Maybe he stays and he has Christmas with her. But Christmas isn't the same. Nothing is the same now.
Well, everything feels super awkward because he's like, and what just happened?
Well, and maybe he even forgives her, but you have like this, now they're in that setting, they're in the, you know.
Feels wrong.
And it just feels wrong. And everyone keeps asking.
Right place, wrong guy.
And even her mom is really trying hard, but it's like a show, right? You have to have a show when it's not family. And that's what it feels like, as a show. Okay. Oh, okay. We have a comment. He is honorable. That could be a reason. Another one. Do we know why she didn't marry the first guy to write the outline?
Yes, we were talking about that at the beginning a little bit, where they were too young. Yeah. They got engaged super young, and
she felt like she wanted to change the world.
Yep, she wanted to make a difference in the world, and
he wasn't ready. He didn't
have the ambition that she was hoping that he would have.
Well, and I think it would be, even if he was like, I'm not leaving this town. Like, this is where we grew up. And maybe it's because his mom died.
Mm-hmm. So
right, that he feels like this is,
these are my people.
And so that could be even a thing at the beginning when they see each other at the airport. She's like, I thought you never left the small town. She's a little bit ticked off, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what were you doing in Nepal?
Because they have to go through customs together. She's like, well, I mean, they were obviously traveling from overseas. She was like, you were on this international flight? Like,
yeah. So, but he's grown too, right? He's grown up to realize he can still be in a small town and still have other things. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So dark night of the soul could actually be that she gets what she wants, right?
What she thinks she wants.
What she thinks she wants. She's going to go back and marry this billionaire.
So it's really awkward.
So we're like after Chris. So Avonlea, do you think she leaves with the billionaire? Like, do you think that's her? And she knows, like, oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then they're planning the wedding, right? And I think glimmer of hope would be that he shows up at her wedding, and because he's mad at himself for never like chasing her.
Okay.
Right? And he interrupts the wedding.
Okay.
And he's like, you know, well, because I was gonna say his dark night of the soul, like maybe he's even in his perspective, he's talking with her mom. And maybe her mom says, like, why didn't you ever go after her? And so he's like, oh, that's a clue to how I'm gonna fix this. So he gets on a plane, he rushes to wherever, or I don't know if he has to get on a plane, but probably. Get there, he interrupts the wedding, and she's, you know, you can have all these callbacks to things that have happened before, right?
So we'll build in the first wedding when she left him at the altar,
or even they can talk about it, right? Like maybe he says, you didn't just leave me, you like interrupted my whole life. And maybe she says, sometimes you need an interruption to like make you who you want to be. And so when he interrupts this, she can be like, what are you doing here? And he can be like, sometimes you need an interruption to realize where you need to be, and you need to be with me. Yay!
Oh, touchdown!
I love romance, you guys. Okay, so what's going to be this scene, Avonlea?
You teach me what needs to happen.
Okay, well, it's that copy.
The after show, the epilogue.
Well,
so
no, it's back to the airport, right? Maybe they're leaving on their honeymoon, or maybe, you know, whatever's the opposite of, maybe they're snuggled into their plane ride together, and they're talking about, maybe it's after the honeymoon or whatever, but it's that feel-good moment that is going to make your audience feel like so complete. Like maybe something that happens in that first scene, right? Maybe it's rushed, maybe she's rushing through the airport, she's trying to find, and maybe there's this person she's rude to, right? And so this matching scene would be the opposite, right? Maybe she takes that person, you know, a latte and says, I'm really sorry, and I want you to meet my husband, and, right? I don't know. That's not stupid, but you know what I'm saying. I like it.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we did this. It took us almost an hour working together. So that's something that you can kind of figure out in your planning process. How much time should you spend working on this? And of course, some of this could shift as the writing comes out and as we learn more about the characters. Like none of this is written in permanent marker. It's actually dry erase.
But it is important. And when Avonlea and I were talking about, you know, the order of things, part of the reason we put this first is because then you kind of know your character, and then you can go, okay, he needs to have this need and this want, and, you know, just like we were figuring out as we were going through. But next week, when we dive deep into character, you're going to see how valuable this playbook is to not only your whole story, but each character. So yeah, I'm excited.
Any questions? We have like a couple minutes left if you guys want to pop into the Q&A window. We do have the Q&A open here. So one of the questions was, do we need to know the reason why they didn't marry in order to create this outline? Is that something that we need to know? Why she called off the wedding?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Just because that's her like inner demon. That's what she's had to overcome.
We're looking for motives.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Your audience will want to know. Yeah.
And just part of knowing like what drives your characters. Yeah. Like she's driven by wanting to make a difference in the world. And that is the thing that actually took her away from that small town in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we really haven't, it's actually a good thing to bring up because it brings up why he is so shattered and broken about it and what that's meant for his life. So that's good to know.
Any other questions, friends? Thank you so much for participating in this process of creating an outline with us. Is there anything that came up along the way? You guys have your copy of Taylor Hart's playbook, how to outline your story.
Get ready for next week. It's going to be awesome.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
See you next lesson.
Okay.